So for me, bro, like I really didn't recognize slow seasons, like because I always had a good clientele. I do see barbers go through those slow seasons, and I feel like it's barbers that don't really have their clientele together. Usually people need a haircut, you know, on the regular rotation. It doesn't really change. Where do you want me to sit?
Just grab one of those buckets, man. Let's keep it informal, bro, and just have a regular ass conversation. All right, what's up, internet? It's your boy JT, Cutthroat Brand. Welcome to episode 2, Cut the Shit podcast. Today, I'm here with my boy Charlie Salazar.
First and foremost, I want to say thank you. My name's Charlie Salazar, Chop Shop Barbershop.
Today, we're in this beautiful location, man. His new shop in Chicano Park. All the aesthetics are fucking dope, man. I can see how this is going to come together. You guys can't fully see it just yet. He's going to be the one that's going to unravel that package for you guys. But just know that he's doing something super dope right here. And I definitely like the direction. It's my style. If I was a barber, I would come work right here for sure, man.
Yeah, I've been in the game for 22 years. And that sums it up for me right there.
Hell yeah, well, we're going to talk about that a lot more. And for everybody looking through the camera, it's a beautiful shot, man.
Yeah,
I know it's going to be amazing, man.
Thank you.
What inspired you to be a barber?
Okay, so what inspired me to be a barber was, you know, I grew up in West LA. Okay. You know, up till about the age of 16, then I moved to San Diego. But those few years before I came to San Diego, I used to go to this barbershop in West LA called Lincoln Barbershop. Okay. And Lincoln Barbershop was like the in shop for West LA. Like those dudes all messed with Mr. Cartoon. Okay. You know what I'm saying? It was that kind of thing. So I really liked the vibe over there. Like really it was a shop that opened at 5 a.m., 6 a.m. My mom would take me before school and then I'll walk to school. So I just like their work ethic. Okay. I go, you see an old man reading the newspaper. After I would get my hair cut, I would feel real good. Mm-hmm. So there was something about the barbershop that like made me feel good inside, and there was just some magic in the barbershop that made me kind of get an interest towards the barber game.
So you'd say it was memorable for you, like in the way that it's just something that you thought of, because obviously you said you were 16, right? Yeah. So you just kind of were like, damn, this is something that makes me just feel comfortable or something, or did you already know you wanted to be a part of that?
So it wasn't really that I wanted to be a part of it. I liked what I was experiencing when I would leave the barbershop.
Gotcha. How you felt and
stuff?
Yeah,
I liked how I felt. So I moved to San Diego later on, like probably about 16 and a half, 17 years old. And when I got here, I couldn't find any barbershops. So I would take a trip to LA every time I needed a haircut.
Oh, okay.
So at that point, that's when I was like, dude, I need to pick up the clippers, you know? And one of my homies was like, hey, my mom's gonna take me to go get a cut. He was kicking it at my house. And he's like, hey, my mom's gonna pick me up. I'm gonna go get a haircut right now. I was like, why you gonna have her? I could cut you up, bro. My cousin had a pair of clippers under the, the sink.
Yeah.
So
under the sink?
So hey, I kind of bullshitted him and said I knew how to cut hair. Yeah. You know,
that was your first client.
Yeah, rest in peace, my boy Freddie. So anyways, so I cut him up. It came out good. He went to school the next day bragging, and from there on, Charlie was the barber.
Damn, okay.
And you know, that's where I became a barber.
Well, that's going to lead perfectly into my next question, right?
Cool.
So how'd you get started in the barber industry specifically?
I got into the barber industry because, so I started getting my reps in the backyard. My aunt had a shed. She let me gut it out and make a little barbershop out of it. I was into the turntables and hip hop and all that.
Techniques?
Yeah, well, no, I had new marks.
Okay,
you know, techniques were a little
too expensive.
Yeah.
I know. Trust me, I know.
Yeah, so I had some new marks, and you know, all my homies were hip hop heads, dog. So you know, we'd be in the shed, homies freestyling, turntables,
little graffiti,
B-boys, a little bit of everything. Right. It was like, you know, hip hop's different elements. I felt like the barber game was like the lost element.
I agree.
You know what I mean? So anyways, so you know, I started getting my reps in, and I knew I wasn't gonna graduate my senior year, bro. I was like, my credits were low. I was like, I want to be a barber anyway. So I looked into Barber School, and they were like, hey, you could come in here as long as you got a waiver from your parents. Okay. You didn't need to have a diploma, none of that.
GED, nothing.
Yeah, so I was like, you know what? I'm going to drop out of school. I'm going to get started on my career, and I became a barber.
So you went to barber school?
Yeah, I went to barber school.
Where'd you go to barber school?
I went to ABC. Shout out to ABC, you know, so.
Hell yeah. ABC's doing cool things. How was that at the time? What was barber school like at that time?
Dude, barber school was dope, dog. Like, honestly, that shit was tight. There was, you had a little bit of everything. You had, like, the Asians, you had the whites, you had...
the older guys.
Yeah, you had the homies, you had the blacks, you had everything. The older dudes, like, people that were retiring and just wanted something to do with their life. You know, you had a little bit of everything, bro. And you could pick up off every different culture in there, you know? So yeah, it was really cool, bro.
At that time, was it still, how many hours was barber school?
Barber school, dang, I don't even remember. I think it was 1,600 hours.
1,600 still,
yeah,
everything?
1,600.
How was it getting your license, like passing the test? Were you like first try? Or
yeah, no, I got it on the first try. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so what we would do is we'd find a model and we'd just drive them to LA with us. And what we were doing is there was like a halfway house right here in San Diego. Okay. So we would just use the guys from the halfway home. Okay. So, hey, you want to make $100 going to the barber exam
and you get a haircut?
Yeah, and you get a haircut. We'll take you for the night, feed you everything, go on a little road trip, and that's how we did it.
Knocked it out.
Yep.
Well, do you remember like when that was? Like what year or anything like that?
2004, 2005-ish, something like that, like right between those 2 years.
Damn, for sure, bro. That's dope, bro. What do you think was your biggest challenge starting out?
The thing that was a struggle for me was, you know, I like to party still. I was young, bro. So, you know, I would show up to barber school late, get sent home. Yeah. So if anything, it was just like
the balance?
Yeah. My habits weren't, I was a kid still, you know? I was hella into partying, but honestly, once I got into barber school, bro, it was all barbering. Honestly, barbering, I would say, saved my life because there's been moments, bro, where I didn't go to this party. And man, unfortunately, somebody that I was gonna go with, something happened to him at a party, dog. And it's like, damn, I would have been at that party if I didn't have to work that night, you know? So
you think those were kind of signs of you're going the right way?
Yeah,
or something like that?
Definitely they were signs, bro. It's just, you know, it's just an unfortunate thing, but it's just, I'm grateful that I found that thing early, bro, because some people don't find things till they're older. You know, and it was it just sat well with me, you know?
So you were licensed at what age?
I was licensed at 17, 18, right there, 18, yeah.
Like, how did your family, like, how did they feel about it?
Hey,
like,
they were supportive, bro. You know, my mom, she's always supported everything I did. Pops too, you know, they were fucking.
Because you know, you obviously like come from Mexican parents and stuff like that. I feel like being a barber is not like on that list of things that.
Yeah, no, I got a lot of like you know, I got a lot of feedback too from people like, are you sure that's what you want to do? And I don't blame them. I don't knock them because it didn't look too promising of a career. You know what I'm saying? But I had a vision that they didn't have. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I still did it because I knew that what they were thinking, that wasn't going to be what I planned it to be.
Yeah, you could already see the vision, obviously.
Yeah, I wanted to do what the barber game was missing. Mm-hmm. You know, like I wanted to be that next level up for the barber
difference.
Game. Yep.
Yeah. How long did it take for you to feel comfortable cutting hair? You were like, oh, I'm killing it.
You know what? It's a trip because when you're in barber school, you think you're killing it.
I have this combo all the time.
You think you're killing it in barber school, and then once you, because you know the people's expectations ain't that high of you when they're going to barber school. Yeah. But you know, once you start in the barbershop and you got these kids moving around and you got, you know, all these different requests that like you haven't done before, it's different. You know what I mean? And you got to cut in a timely manner.
Of course.
And so I'd say like a year.
A year?
Yeah.
A year from getting your license or a year from starting?
No, a year from getting my license.
Okay.
Yeah.
And at that time, other than barber school, what were the ways to learn how to cut hair? Because YouTube wasn't
zero social media.
Exactly.
Yeah,
right?
it was only like Google searching, you know, and there was no really videos, no YouTube, none of that. It was you had to find somebody that you liked their style, and you had to stand there and watch. Yep.
Yeah. Did people like hate, or were they like, or they open for you to watch and stuff like that?
You know what? They were open, bro. As long as they knew that you were like really wanted to learn. Any barber that I know, I think that they'll let you, bro, as long as they see that, hey, you're serious, you know?
At that time, what were clippers like? Like, what were you using? What was like the best clipper at that time?
You know what's crazy is like nothing came out, bro. Nothing would come out for like, bro, 15 years in the game. Nothing came out, bro. It was just like
just a senior, a master.
I think the wildest thing was this little tattoo clipper to do designs, and it was like you got it, and like, this is trash, bro.
Bullshit. Yeah.
I'm better with
that's the one with the little teeth. Yeah.
So it would be something like that would come out here and there, you know, but it was trash, bro. And I always wanted to be able to buy those kind of things, but there was nothing new, bro. So the thing we would do is, if anything, we would like try to customize our own stuff, like
gap them.
Gap them or take the cap off, sand them, spray paint them.
Yeah.
You know, or
customize the actual looks.
We would try to do our own thing, but
what did like a setup look like? Like, what was your fading clipper then?
So back then it was the 5-star seniors.
Corded?
Yeah, corded, and it was the T-liners, but a lot of us were using the slimline, the slimline 2s.
Yeah,
so they were the
ones
black
before
ones.
the pros.
Yeah, they were the black, no, it wasn't even slimlines. It was the black T outliners back then. It was like
the GTX?
No, even before that. Yeah, it wasn't the Andes T outliners. I think the Styliners. Styliner 2s or
they were Styliners. Yeah. They're square and then with the T blade.
Yeah, those ones. Yep. Yeah. Styliner 2s. It was the T outliners, whatever.
Styliners. Yeah, Styliners. That's what they were for sure.
Yeah, I was using those a lot. The Walls and Osters.
Gotcha. The Oster Fast Speeds?
Yeah, bro. with oysters. No, not even fast feeds. The metal clips.
Got you.
So I would fade with nothing but that. Yeah, I would fade with nothing but detachables, and then I'd come in and polish with the walls.
Got you.
You know,
Got you. What was like a shaver like in those days?
Shaver was Norelco, bro.
Yeah.
They didn't come out with the Barber ones yet.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Those weren't a thing yet, right? It was the actual like
the one with the 3 circles.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, it was those.
You've been in the game 22 years.
Yeah.
What would you say was the hardest moment, one individual moment, bro, along these 22 years?
So for me, bro, it was just like I said earlier, it's just that that partying lifestyle catching up to you. You know, you're trying to do good. You're on the road to doing good, but your habits are taking you the other way. Of course. You know, it's like, for me, it was just like facing that. Like, dude, bro, like success is in my face, but my habits are pulling me back. So I would say it was just really trying to get a grip of that. You know, like everything was catching up. All these things that you're doing that weren't a problem yet are becoming a problem.
You would go 2 steps forward and 1 step back because of life.
Well, you know, substances, bro, drugs, bro.
Course,
like, and, you know, we do things. We don't think they're gonna be anything. We think we got control of it, bro.
Of course.
And before you know it, bro, it's got you in a chokehold, bro.
I agree.
And for me, that was the hardest struggle I've ever dealt with, was stopping that kind of stuff. And then, yeah, bro, I don't think that anything that I've been through since then really, you know, like,
was as hard as that.
Yeah, it wasn't that hard, bro. I think that kind of shit is shit gets your soul, bro. You know.
I think it's a human thing, bro.
Yeah.
Especially in this industry,
Right.
it's hard to not go with the flow because of the freedom.
Right,
I feel like, right? And then at the end of the day, like you said, barbers are normally young, so you want to just do those things that everyone else is doing.
Exactly, bro.
Have you ever considered quitting?
Yeah. So there was a point of time where, you know, I was blaming everything but myself, I think, you know. So, you know, I was trying to do all these different things. You know, I ended up going to school to be a welder. Okay. Well, I owned a barbershop. And, you know, I went and did that, and it humbled me, bro, because I got there and, you know, I worked for a little while right here at BAE Systems, the shipyards. And, bro, I couldn't even like talk to anybody in the day because I had a mask on all day. And it was just like, it just showed me that I had what I wanted in front of me, bro. I just wasn't doing what I needed to in the barber game. So yeah, I've been there.
Okay. When did you open up your first barbershop?
So I opened up my first shop when I was 23. The chop shop where I'm at.
Okay. Chop Shop Chula Vista, original location.
Yeah, original location, but I opened.
That was next to Nitty's, if everyone remembers
before,
that.
Yeah, before Nitty's opened, I was where Nitty's was.
Okay.
And then I hit up my boy Flox, and I was like, hey, Flox, come take over the tattoo, or come take over the barbershop, and I'm going to move to the bigger spot. So that's, you know, that's where all that happened, you know?
How hard was it to open up your own barbershop in that time?
All right, so in that time, I was already planning on opening a shop, so I was already buying barber chairs for some years already. But fortunately, dude, I had a grandfather, man, that, you know, like he believed in my vision, and he was able to get a loan for me and help me out with that.
Oh, yeah.
You know, but the good part about everything was that I already had barbers that wanted to come work for me. Like, I probably had at least 10 dudes that told me, hey, Charlie, when you open your shop, we're with you, bro.
How many chairs was that first shop?
So 10 chairs. Yeah,
Dope.
I filled it up pretty quick.
Oh, yeah. For how long did you just have one shop?
So I had one shop, and then I opened a couple other chop shops, but really, bro, like they didn't really work out too well. One of them was just more on a lease situation. You know, it was because of the lease. But then the other one was more or less kind of like try to bring a friend in the game. Kind of went, you know what I mean?
Didn't work out?
Yeah, but it is what it is, you know. Probably about like 7 years in.
Okay.
You know, and I tried another shop.
Before you tried something else, okay.
So,
and what made you want to do another shop? What was the motivation to go shop two?
Because I always wanted that. I always wanted more, bro. But I still think that I didn't have, like, some of this business stuff, bro, I didn't have, you know, too well. Like,
of course.
Yeah, you know, so it took me, like, some studying and some learning, bro. And I still wasn't ready for that yet.
I got you. The literal part is easy, but the back end is hard, man.
Yeah,
like,
for real.
for especially multiple businesses. And when you're young and you're trying to enjoy everything that life has to offer still, it's kind of hard to be that young, multiple business owner.
Exactly, bro.
And I mean, I feel like we all fall to those challenges, you know? So in all this time, and we keep saying this number, you've been in the game 22 years, bro. That's a crazy accolade.
Yeah.
What would you say has changed the most in the barber industry from when you started to where we're sitting today? Like, what would you think is the biggest drastic change?
I would say COVID, bro. COVID really changed the game, bro. Like, You know, a lot of barbers, like, that's, I think the whole soulless salon, the studios, kind of, that's when that started kicking in. And, you know, kind of, I would say that started happening. A lot of barbers stopped working. They didn't want to come back to work.
Went home.
Yeah, they started doing it from home. They just got a different way of doing things now. And to me, a barbershop was more of a traditional thing. It was like a community thing. So that's the difference, I would say, you know.
Okay. So would you say that it kind of just changed the way barbers themselves looked at the establishment? Like it's pretty much the idea of once you give people options, well, they'll take those options, right?
Yeah.
Because before that, I would agree, there wasn't a lot of models. It was either work at a shop,
exactly,
or open you up your own shop.
Exactly.
That's pretty
all it
much
was.
it, right?
Yep. That's all it was.
So how was COVID for you? Like literally, bro. Like
COVID, bro. So I spent some of it. You know, I was incarcerated, bro.
Okay.
You know, you make little dumb decisions. So anyways, I spent some of that time away. But fortunately, my mom was able to handle things for me while I was gone. But when I came home from COVID, it was tough, bro, because it was only like 2 barbers at the shop. And it was like, thankfully, the landlord gave us a little bit of leniency. But, you know, it was hard to find people to come to work because even if they did come back to work, they weren't showing up because they were getting a check.
Of course.
You know, so it was hard. But I already knew what's going to happen is a lot of them are going to lose work ethic. You're going to lose your work ethic because you're depending on this check that's not going to last forever.
I think that even that's trickling to today, bro.
Yeah.
You know, we're in 2025 now.
Bro.
And I agree that work ethic part is something that people don't fully have there, you know.
Sometimes it takes a while to recover from something like that, bro.
Yeah,
like,
I agree.
You get used to the easy way, and then it's hard to get used to this, you know, earning it.
Do you think that that's affecting barbers now, though? Like in the way where we were just talking a little earlier, though, like the game seems to be a little saturated at the moment, right? So you add saturation to bad work ethic, right? And it seems like you have half the industry that's just here to look like a barber.
Yeah.
And then only the other half is really there to actually be able to live like one, right?
Yeah, true. A lot of people, I feel like what happens is people become a barber because they could bring their habits with them because basically they're their own boss, they want to say, you know. But the thing is they bring all those habits with them. And lately it's been like a stigma on the barber game, bro. Like, you know, the barbers get looked down on, bro. It's because we haven't been showing the best work ethic, professionalism, bro. It's like
customer service.
Yeah, customer service, a lot of that stuff, bro.
Well, we're acting like you're blessed to have me.
Exactly, bro.
And the way I put it to my barbers a lot of the time, imagine that, you know, you go to the liquor store and you're like, let me get that bottle of Henny. And they're like, I'll give it to you like in 2 hours. Yeah. You're just going to be like, well, bro, I'll go to the next liquor store.
Exactly, bro.
And I think that right there is humbling barbers now.
Yeah.
You were able to maybe do that when it wasn't so saturated.
Exactly.
But now you do that, bro, and you go on Instagram and in 2 seconds you're going to see a barber just as good. And a lot of the times better. And that's unfortunate what's going to happen to that client once they go see that the grass is at least the same elsewhere. You know what I mean? I agree a lot, bro. The work ethic part is something that, well, it's hard to teach. Yeah. Right? Because you could tell people all day, like, bro, you should show up early and pass out flyers and do all this. But if they haven't really seen the benefit of that, they don't believe in it.
Exactly.
Right? And not until someone goes through it do they believe in it. But we all know, bro, how long does it take for you to steadily do the right thing for it to work out? We're talking about years, man. And I agree that work ethic part is kind of something that's kind of going away right now in some ways. Yep. You know, we're in this new generation of barbering, bro. And there's a lot of words that are thrown out, like, you know, celebrity barber, you know, a lot of barbers got this little Hollywoodness to them. Yeah. And not to put anybody down, bro, I think confidence is important in this industry. Right. And me being someone that kind of dealt with that, cutting a few famous people, those things don't bring you much. No, they don't. Right? But what would you say to the barber whose direction right now is, for lack of better words, clout? What would you tell them? And not to really get them off their path, but maybe just to keep them on a straight one. What would you say? If they're making good money and if it's working for them, hey, more power to them. You know what I mean? More power to them. The only thing that I could say is that
make sure you're doing the right things with your money, like saving your money. Like I said, don't put all your chips in just on being a barber, because at the end of the day, there's going to be a point of time where, hey, that Hollywood barber, there's going to be another Hollywood barber that's going to take your spot, bro. So the way I see it is just make sure that you have a good game plan financially to, you know, to invest that money. But the longevity in the actual barber game, like the way I'd say we traditionally do it, is, you know, I'm building a shop and I have barbers working for me, so I got like a game plan. You know what I mean? That is just like a game plan for yourself only, and I don't really see a business out of it.
Exactly.
You know, I mean, it's good for just you, like I said, but if anything, you need to, you know, just invest your money correctly, because it's not really a business.
I agree.
You're just a barber at the end of the day. So
that the gems I got out of what you just said is exactly that. Not only if you're gonna go that direction, make sure that financially you set yourself up for the future.
Yeah.
Because if you're cool now, the cool guy's coming.
Exactly,
the
bro.
next guy, right? So that I completely agree with.
Yeah.
And then like you said, the other part, it's selfish to just worry about yourself.
Right.
And I think that unfortunately, by the time that you realize that, and you swap that around, you missed out on a lot of the things that you could have gained by being humble, being real, being authentic. I'm not on a crusade against those barbers.
Me neither.
I was one of those barbers at a point. I just think that you get to a point where you realize I would much rather have someone step up for the character of me as a person than for the picture I posted online. And in the long run, I might be wrong, but I think that's going to get you a lot farther.
Yeah.
Being here so long, how do you handle things like slow seasons? And do you educate your barbers on the fact that they exist?
Dang, so for me, bro, like I really didn't recognize slow seasons. Like for me, it was always good, bro. Like I really didn't, it didn't affect me like it affected other people, because I always had a good clientele. But then again, you know, I've kind of been away from like consistently cutting in the game for a good amount of time, bro. But I do see barbers go through those slow seasons, and I feel like it's barbers that don't really have their clientele together. It's more or less the barbers that are depending on the barbershop more. I feel like they go through a slow season because usually people need a haircut, you know, on a regular rotation. It doesn't really change. So I think it's just more or less affects the barbers that don't got their clientele up yet.
Let me ask you a question. What's more important, trying to get clients that you already have to come back, or getting new clients? I know they're both important, but would you say which one's slightly more important?
Okay, so it's important to keep building your clientele until you feel like you need to close your books, you know, because there are some barbers, bro, that are so booked like
they don't have no space to do
they
nothing.
don't have space and they got to open it sometimes. I've never really been like that, because I cut walk-ins and do appointments. Like I don't like to have it where I'm doing the same person all the time. Yeah, for me, bro, personally, bro, I think they're both important. Man, I don't know. That's a tough one.
As far as for you specifically, bro, what do you think are the keys to building like loyal clientele?
So building loyal clientele, bro, honestly, is just, you know, greeting people, you know, when they walk in the door, greeting people, customer service, answering the phone, you know, things like that. I mean, that's how I did it in my past, you know.
I agree.
I haven't really been that consistent in cutting where I've been trying to build a clientele base anymore. But the way that I did it was just taking care of my clients, bro, just giving them a good service, going over and beyond, you know. And
in those time frames, bro, like, and I'm talking about a little bit more in the past, right? How important were like skills? Like what I'm getting at is like the idea of like thinking you're the best barber. Was that something that helped in those days, or was that something that maybe like you know was opposite in those days? Like my point is confidence. Did that play a big part in the start?
Yeah. Honestly, like there was a lot of young barbers coming up when I was, you know, like there started to be. I feel like that was the start, bro. Honestly, I feel like 2004 was like now the new young generation was coming in, you know, and it's been blowing up ever since. So I feel like there was a lot of barbers, bro, that were really just killing it, bro, you know, and you know, a lot of them were just, you know, proud of it, you know. So but I think it plays an important role, you know, in who you are as a barber. Because
I feel like the way I look at it, right, is the clients you already have, right? If you get better,
right.
If you teach them how you work more, if you kind of show them things, you know, some people just come in, they're like, oh, I'll take a taper. And they've never even had a fade, right? And you're like, hey, bro, have you ever tried a fade or something? Like, it seems like if you build the clients that you have up, they become higher paying clients faster. Right. But I do think that they end up plateauing. When you bring in new clients, right, you're able to start like fresh with them, right? And I guess what I was trying to say is, I feel like a new client is important. But I don't think that the client on the bench who that's next is more important than the client in your chair. Right? And I think a lot of barbers do that, where let's say that I'm your client, you cut every week. Well, you just knock me out because I'm here every week. And sometimes I notice that you're just kind of knocking me out to get to that guy. And I feel some kind of way about that. Instead of when the barber's openly like, hey bro, I'm a little behind, but I gotta make sure I take care of my guy so that I can take care of you too. Then that gives you that feeling like, damn, like he's not gonna do me like that to get to the next one, right? But I think these days it's a number chase. People would rather have that number on their booking app or something where I got this many clients instead of, well, how consistent is that, or how much is that really your client? I'm sure you got those clients that, you know, during the holidays and stuff, or your birthday, they bring you a bottle. They like know these things. I feel like those are just slightly more important than that walk-in. Of course. Well, also too, bro, I also feel like it's important to try to build new clientele, because that way you could change it up a little bit. You're not so used to cutting up the same people all the time. Old. That's why I always like to take walk-ins, bro, is because I feel like it's good to have those spontaneous random customers, bro. Like, and then, you know, you just meet new people. And I feel like they challenge you a little bit too, right? Yeah, it could be like that. It seems like a lot of haircuts these days are like, don't cut nothing off the top and give me a low taper. Oh, dude. You know what I mean? Bro. That's not how it used to be. No, it was like, much. Everyone skin fade. Yeah, back then it was a 2 and a skin. It was easy, bro. Like hard was a 4 and a skin fade, but it wasn't hard. But I'm just saying, I know what you mean. That was our difficult back then, bro. The Jersey Shore haircut. You know what I'm saying? And now there's long hair, wave, all these kind of things. And what's cool too, though, bro, is like pulling ones from your booking app, or your booking app, or getting people from online, because you get that higher price too. Of course, you know what I mean? So the client that books online and sees your price, well, bro, he's gonna pay that. Those are cool, bro. Right? When that guy's like, oh, how much is it? Well, bro, you already know he booked for whatever that price was. You're not gonna be like less. Exactly. Right? And I will say that it seems like new clients tend to take care of you better. Right? But I just don't like to forget those old clients. Yeah, don't forget where you came from. I don't cut a lot, no more, like you were saying. But I just have these few clients that are still lingering, right? And they'll be like, "Look, bro, I'll wait 2 months if I have to." Yeah, and I'm just like, whenever you could, let me know. Whenever you're in the shop, I'm there. Exactly. I got those too, bro. And they seem to take care of you because I feel like they think you don't want to cut their hair. They take care of you, bro. Like, I literally have these few clients, bro, and they pay me like 120 bucks for like a taper or something not that crazy, and I feel bad, but they're like, nah, man, I appreciate your time. I know you don't even cut no more, and for me, that's like a trip. You know what I mean? Like, it's a trip to be appreciated, I guess. You know? Would you say you still have clients like that? They're like, no matter what, bro, they're your client. Every time I get back in the shop, bro, they're in my rotation. Okay. So. And when you're not in the shop, they'll stay within the shop, or whoever I recommend them, you know? So. Exactly. I always appreciate that, bro, when at least they stay in your shop, right? Because it seems like you keep the money in there and stuff. But have you had a time where financially the struggle was really bad? And how'd you get over that? So it was during COVID, bro. Like I said, there wasn't really barbers. People didn't want to come to work. You know, a lot of people closed at that time. Exactly, a lot of barbershops closed, bro. So thankfully, my landlord gave us a break. You know what I mean, to care of me, and you know, we made it through it. You know, but that was the hardest part. Fortunately, I've always been able to staff my barbershop. I've always had people that want to work at the chop shop, and you know, I'm just thankful that I'm not one of the shops that struggles to find barbers, bro. That's a blessing. It is a blessing, bro. Like, it's a blessing. It's a big blessing to have people, but you know, it's also comes with being a good owner, bro. And I've had to learn how to be that too. Creating the space sometimes is the easiest spot, and I don't mean like financially or nothing like that, but once it's there, it's there. Right. But creating that culture, bro, and creating those ties to the barbers that make them think that they're not just paying you a booth rent, because at the end of the day, they are, and that's like the literal detail that we all have to go through to pay our bills, right? But it sucks to try to do both of those things, to be like, yo, like, we're homies, but I need that on Saturday. You get what I mean? For sure. How'd you kind of deal with being able to be a friend and a boss? Man, it's just pretty much just tell them what the booth rent is, bro. And I mean, if it comes to that point, I gotta let them know. But fortunately, none of my friends have really tried to take advantage. They've never really crossed that line. Fortunately, I haven't had too much conflict, or
you know, it's been pretty smooth for me, bro. I ain't gonna lie. Like I've had my episodes here and there, but nothing that really stands out. That's something that really
like shook it up crazy.
Yeah, that shook it up crazy, bro.
Okay.
You know?
How much do you let them get behind before it's like, like, hey, bro, like,
you know what?
Because I tend to care about them a lot, bro. And it's like, by the time you notice, you're like, damn, bro, like, you're that behind. And you tend to know about their life and you care, right? But then sometimes you're like, damn, bro, you really think is sweet out here, you know? Like,
I've had barbers that can fall behind pretty far, but it's not like a bunch of them at the same time. You know, it just depends if they're paying it off, if they're communicating about it. As long as they're staying, you know, within, like, you know, communicating and keeping it real, that's all I care about, bro. I understand we go through things. Hey, my engine just blew out. Charlie, what's up? Hey, bro, it's cool. Don't pay for the next few weeks. Take care of that engine because you got to get to work, and then take care of me, bro. Like, I don't mind, bro. Life happens. But don't do me dirty, you know?
Exactly. Well, look, bro, I feel like I'm the same, right? I have a heart, bro. And at the end of the day, you care about these people, and you know that they got kids, they got this, they got that. So if you let me know something's going on, bro, I'm going to understand. That doesn't mean I have to like it. Right? Like, let me be honest, right? But I'm going to at least understand. But, you know, what about those ones that don't communicate? Those ones that just kind of let it go, right? What's the point where you're like, hey, man, I can't do this no more?
Man, I've had that happen probably like one time, you know what I mean? And it's unfortunate, you know, you got to communicate with them, but once they start ignoring what you say, bro, it's kind of like, damn, you don't respect me then.
It answers the question for you,
I mean,
right?
you know, I still got love for you, homie, but we just might not be able to be good in business, you know? It doesn't mean maybe later in the future we can revisit whatever, but it's just right now, bro, we can't.
That's how I tend to be, bro. Like, if it gets to the point where it's like, look, bro, like, I'm not making money off that chair because of what you were going through, but I could be making money off that chair. Like, I got somebody that wants it. To me, that's normally the when I do that. Because having an empty chair doesn't help nobody. Right? So even if I have somebody in there, even at a debt, right? I look at it like, well, it's still business, bro. At some point, you're going to get that, right? But I agree. If they communicate and they kind of put a plan in place, I feel like I can work with that because I understand. Having multiple shops, it makes you sometimes worry more about filling the chair than those details, and then by the time that you catch it, you're like, oh yeah, man, hey man, like, you're doing a little too much, bro. You need to either make a big effort, or I'm gonna have to just move on. You know what I mean? And I don't like to be able to say that I got more than one of those people that's happened to, but I feel like the thing that gives me a little solace is that I look at it like, you know what, like, they didn't get over on me, bro. I helped them, and even if they don't look at it like that, my karma's really good in that spot, and I honestly think maybe that's why I'm blessed, right? But I think that's the best way to put it, bro. If you communicate those things, bro, like, we're in a good place.
One of the things, bro, that rubs me the wrong way, bro, is when somebody, you know, they're behind on rent, and then you go to the shop and you see their tools gone one day. And it's like, dang, this fool ghosted, bro. And, like, basically just like, hey, well, that rent don't matter no more. Like, and what's crazy is we got to keep it professional, bro. It's like, I'm not gonna
like
go,
the streets.
I can't go hunt you down, dog. Like, you know, like, it runs through my mind, like, hey, let me go mess his car up.
Because don't you feel like they're like kind of like spitting in your face in a way, like, or like they think it's sweet, pretty much.
But the way I see it, bro, is like this: is like one day they're gonna own a shop, or they won't own a shop because this is their attitude. You know, and then, you know, karma comes full circle, bro, and they'll deal with it some other way, bro. So
I love that you say that, because that's how in my heart, that's what I tell myself. One day, I hope they're in my position so that karma can get them exactly the same. Because I feel like it is like that, bro. It's just like, bro, like having a debt with somebody you fuck with, bro, it's just not good business, man. And it does make it where it's weird, like you said, right? Like, sometimes I'll revisit it. Like, I've had barbers that learn their lesson, and then they come back and they really want a shot again. And for me, it's like, all right, but you still owe me that other money, bro. You know, and a lot of times they're like, fuck it, all right, bro, like, I'll pay that off or whatever. Again, it doesn't feel good, but I feel like this industry is not set up in a way where anyone is free of that. Would you agree that there's probably a lot of shops that are dealing with that to a certain degree
for
too,
sure,
right?
and then they go to another shop and start working there, and you know, they just left this shop in debt, went to go work there. I mean, it'd be cool if there was a system that, like, hey, like, that fool left, bro, he owes money, and then kind of just, if barbers respected
like
each
a credit.
other, if barbers respected each other enough to be like, okay, look, I'll let him work for me, bro, but I'm gonna make sure he pays you.
In your career, what would you say has been the most rewarding part, bro? Like, the thing that gives, like, makes you feel grateful, like that, you know, when you wake up in the morning, you're like, man, I'm glad I have this. What is that?
You know, I love the barbershop, and I love that it's a place when you see it like fully functioning, all the chairs full. You see all these people talking, laughing, having a good time, and just like you go into the shop and you see community, bro. Like I love seeing that. And like for me now, like 22 years in the game, kids that I used to cut up now are going to the military, going to college,
getting married.
You know, it's just, you see so much that came from it. And also too, like me growing up in the barber, I grew up in this. So people see me at my lowest and they're seeing me at my highest. And you know, they just get to see that we grow up with each other, bro. So it's, for me, it's a big thing too, to be able to get out of something that I went through and for people to be like, dude, he made it. You know, he's doing good.
Yeah, motivating someone.
Yeah, he picked himself up, bro. Like, you know, and you know, just being able to help people with resources that I have, you know, like I might have resources that other people don't have. And I feel like that's a part of being a barber, bro, is that we're so connected in the game and like with people, where sometimes we need to pull our resources for people that need help.
For other people.
Exactly, bro.
Something that you're grateful for is being able to see the shop have culture or have the ability to affect someone else's life.
Community, bro. And it all comes through the shop.
Yeah.
And then like also like all the people that help me build my shop, bro, are people that like were part of my shop, like customers at a time, or somebody's deal, or somebody, just something came out of this barbershop, and it's how it was built.
Of course.
You know?
And I like what you said about the resource part.
Right.
I agree that barbers are like the most connected people out here.
We are,
you know,
bro.
Everybody. You know, the trappers, you know,
everything,
the legit
bro.
people, you know, everybody, you know, the dude that works the dealership. And at some point,
I'm telling you, bro,
as a barber, I feel like there's never a time that someone's not like, oh, I know somebody that does that. You know what I mean?
That's that community aspect in a barbershop that you won't get in being in a studio. In a studio, like, I'm not knocking it, bro, but the community aspect of a barbershop is not there. Like those connections, like the movie Barbershop, bro, that's like a perfect example of what a barbershop is.
Should be like
that whole shop put together to get that kid shoes because they knew that kid's mom can't afford it, but that kid wanted to play football or whatever so bad. Like, hey, let's all put in $20 and help out little whatever. That's what we should be doing with our platform.
Yeah. I remember there was when I first started, bro, was a barber I worked with, and he would always say that thing, barbers are for the people. Right. And it always would hit me, but I got in at a time where, you know, battles were a thing and all these other things that, you know, made you feel a little bit more like a superstar than just a barber.
I feel it.
And when you break that down, it's true, bro. Your job is to provide a service to someone and make them feel good.
Exactly.
Right? I feel like that's slacked on these days, bro.
Man,
like,
the way I see it too is like some people grew up like, okay, like me, I grew up going to a barbershop. There was an old man sitting on a chair with a newspaper, creased up shirt, slick back hair, like just classic barbershop, bro.
Dapper.
Like that good vibe that I told you earlier about. Like that's what I've seen. Some people grew up in the barber game seeing the Hollywood side of it, and they didn't see the community aspect, or they got their first haircuts in barber studios and this. So that's what they think barbering is. And I don't knock them, but barbering is really a community thing, bro. And that's what it stems from, and that's how everything became.
Of course,
you know.
And I actually think that's how it should continue.
Me too, bro.
Personally, me too. I've worked in a studio, right? And bro, I like the barbershop. I like to talk shit. I like to talk sports. I like to yell across the room. And it seems like clients love that too, right? They start to get to know the guy that works right next to you, right? And this and that. And I think that's the dope part that I agree you miss out in a studio, right? So I remember personally when I was in a studio, bro, if you're booked, it's cool. But the second you have a break, you just look around and you're like, damn, bro, I'm by myself. You just get on your phone, right? And there's no community in that, bro. As much as you want to create a culture by yourself, that by definition, that's not what culture is.
Exactly.
And I, again, don't want to talk shit about studios. I don't want to detour anybody in that way. We both own studios, right? That we rent out. So it's not that. I just think it's for a certain type of barber. And that's fine for that barber. But I do think that a lot of barbers go into studios prematurely. And then 1 or 2 years later, bro, they're right back in situations that they didn't need to be. Where all I'm saying is if they would have did it opposite, waited 2 more years, they would have succeeded in the studio fine. Right? And well, like I said, at the end of the day, studios aren't for me.
Some people don't really like to deal with too many people, and I don't blame them. It's cool, it's their thing.
Introverts, you know, people, you know, there's people, I get it.
But the community aspect is what I'm saying, like really that's what a barbershop is, where people come together, People meet each other in the barbershop. Just a lot of magic can happen in a barbershop, you know?
You know your barbershop is doing something right when a client comes in and maybe he pulls up with his little 12-pack or whatever, but he's like offers a beer to every single barber or something like that. It's not just like a you and him. It's like I fuck with this place. I'm sure you have those guys, bro, that they show up on Friday after work and they're still in construction stuff and they're chilling at your spot and they love being there, bro. Their girl's probably calling them and calling them, where the fuck you at? I'm next. And they've been getting, you know, they got cut.
You've been next.
You know, and again, not knocking it. I just think when a barbershop is barbershopping, that shit's beautiful.
It is, bro. Like, I love it, bro. Sometimes I'll go into my shop, bro, and just like a lot of gratitude will hit me, bro, just for what I've built. And you know, it's not just me by myself. A lot of people have helped me, but it's just like they're reminders, bro. I pull up and it's a busy day and I just see people laughing and just the vibe going good. It just even makes you want to give t-shirts out. Like, here, bro, you know what I mean? Hat pins, you know.
I'm like that too, bro, where like anytime that someone actually likes something, like, you know, I create clothes and stuff like that too. And when someone's actually like, hey, bro, like I like that. If someone actually likes it, I can never charge them full price,
right, bro.
It's just, I'm like, it's weird. Bro, I'm like, bro, I'm like, cool. Hey, you fuck with it? Fuck, bro. That's just give me, you know, whatever, you know. And it's not that it's not possible in other scenarios, bro, but there's just something about that barbershop feel. And I think you also come from that. Like, there's also a difference between, right, 4-chair shops, 6-chair shops, like, you know, I'm not knocking it either, but I feel like when it's like a 8, 10, 12-chair shop, bro, the amount of buzzing going on, it's a vibe, bro. And it also comes with its negatives as well, you know what I mean, for some people. But at the end of the day, bro, I think a barbershop buzzing is beautiful, bro.
I went through my phases in the barber game, bro. Like, Chop Shop was turned up back in the day, bro, and like, honestly, I'd say like 10 years ago, I changed it all up. Like, it could still have like the little hood vibe to it. But it's
we can't change where you come from.
It's professional though, bro. Like, a lot of the stuff that I used to let go down, it don't go down there no more, you know. And people know that about me. Like, people seen the change that happened, you know. And that's something that, like, another thing, like, part of me that I get grateful for too. Sometimes I go in there and I see the difference of what it like from what it was and what it is now, and it's like I could see my growth in my shop.
I love that you touched on that, because I feel the same. A lot of my growth was really quick. Right. But with that, I realized that I was missing out on some of those things, bro. You get what I mean? Like, being able to spend that little time on that little project and making it become its own little thing, bro. And I like to be able to hear that side, bro, of like someone else that was in that same position. You know, I will say my shops are kind of hood. But I also think we're some of the best barbers in the city, and I think we also look professional sometimes too. But it's hard to control all those little details. You know what I mean? And I just think when at bare minimum it's real, you can't promote real.
Exactly, bro. And you're not always gonna get like the most perfect thing out of the shop. We could try our best, but there are gonna be times where somebody doesn't do something like that professional. But it's not like it's happening all the time, bro. Like, come on, like, we're doing good for, you know, for where we come from and what we're working with, and like, you know, we can't be perfect all the time, bro. But
being able to see that little progression, bro. I would say my shop years ago were way more desmadre than they are now. And for me to eat, bro. Like, you know, I got my homies, you know, here right now, and they know for a fact that a lot of the times, bro, we're like, well, it's better than it was. I feel like that's enough sometimes to be like, keep going, bro. Like, bro, if you think you're gonna show up and be perfect in anything, looks, skills, vibe, all of that, bro, watch you fail. You're gonna fail. Because if perfection is what you want, that's an opinion. That's a perspective. But it getting better over time, progression, not perfection, bro, we can all reach that. And that's one that I will say I can agree with you. I just started to feel where I'm like, is it better than it used to be? Well, why are we complaining, bro? It's probably going to be better in another year. Right? Everything don't come overnight.
I mean, the goal is for anybody to feel welcome in the barbershop, you know, like a mom to come in. You know, I've had complaints before in the past, but that's something we worked on already, bro. And like, you know, I try my best to make the atmosphere welcoming to everybody. You know?
I have a daughter, right? I know you do too, right? Maybe when she was young and she doesn't know what the words are saying, it don't bother me. But now that she does, if you know, you walk in and the song's just talking about, you know, pussy this and you know, whatever. I can't say that it makes me feel that great, bro. And I'm a very alternative guy. I ain't listen to that in my car, right? But I will say it makes me feel some kind of way.
Yeah.
Now imagine if you're somebody that's nothing like us,
Right.
and they're just trying us out.
Exactly.
And they
And
walk
that
in,
happens.
and
Man,
we look
bro.
like this. First of all,
Yeah.
you know we're gonna get judged on our
Exactly.
looks. And then you look around, maybe hip hop's playing and this and that. They already judged everything about you. The best thing you can do is show them that you're not.
The
that.
professionalism.
Exactly, bro.
And that's the part, like, right here at this shop, you know, where I'm at, Chicano Park, bro, that's my whole goal, bro, is to come over here with the most professionalism and honestly work with the community and just show people, bro, like, that stigma of barbers, bro, like, bro, we're better than that.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
It doesn't have to be like that.
Yeah, no, yeah. I don't want to be in that category, you know?
I want to head in that direction too.
Right.
I think I am.
Yeah, that's
but
good.
I will say there's things that you can't help. My shop's called Kutthroat, right?
Right.
If you just read it, well, you might already assume something,
Somebody's gonna think
whatever.
so, yeah.
But
even the chop shop, same thing, bro.
of course,
I've had that too,
it's not just Charlie's Barbershop,
Exactly.
right? And sometimes I feel like you're working backwards with those things,
Right.
but I wouldn't change them either. Like
Right.
that identity part, bro.
Right.
We are who we are. We're not
Yup.
bad people. And if you can just give me a chance to show you how professional I am,
Yeah.
I promise you'll love my place.
That's right.
You know, and I think that's a direction that all barbers should head in.
That's dope, yeah.
Because that's how you're gonna. Let's be honest. That's where the money's at.
Exactly. It is. Straight up.
And people not judging you and anyone coming in your chair.
Yeah.
How often do you cut like an older guy and it's an easy haircut?
I love cutting older men, bro.
But they love taking care of you.
You know, I do these little classes, and I don't get a bunch of students in them, bro, but they're cool because I get little kids, bro.
Yeah.
And it's my opportunity to, like, be in a little kid's ear, bro. Of
course.
These little kids are 12 years old taking my little barber class, and that's what my classes are aimed to, is these youngsters, bro. Of
course.
Because, like, I want to get in their head, you know,
Before anybody else does.
because I know that I've already went through the bad things that I wouldn't want them to be misinformed about. You know what I mean? So
how often do you do those classes?
I try to do them like every 2 weeks, but I put them on a little hold recently. So I got some students.
To like finish all this and stuff?
Yeah. So I finished this, and I'm gonna run one here. So
That's fire.
Yeah.
I will say from outside looking in, bro,
Yeah.
I see you do those things. I actually see the way you carry yourself online.
Yeah.
I can tell certain things like code, ethic,
Yeah.
morals, in the way you speak and the way you move. That's one thing that, like I told you before, it brought
Yeah.
me to want to have this
Appreciate that.
conversation. I understand that necessity and convenience are something that we're all forced to deal with, but I don't think that should come before ethic
Exactly.
and stuff like that. And I know we're forced to do certain things, but when you see someone doing that, it's a breath of fresh air, bro.
Yeah.
At least for me, it's
That's
like
cool.
it's like dope, bro. There are
Yeah.
people out there that care. You
Yep.
know what I mean? How important do you think social media is these days comparison to how you came? You know, obviously social
Yeah.
media wasn't a thing.
yeah, it wasn't in, it wasn't out. So for me, bro, I feel like it's a big advantage. Like, it's an easy way to pass out flyers online, bro. You know,
You have to pay to print them.
Yeah, exactly. Which I don't knock, like, passing out flyers these days.
No, me either.
There's nothing like personal interaction, but that's your moment to, like, reach people that you wouldn't reach on a daily basis.
Of course. I feel like it's a portfolio that's always there.
Exactly.
You know what
That
I mean?
too, yeah.
I didn't used to be like this, but I think if you're a professional barber, more and more these days, it's important for you to leave out those personal things you do,
Facts.
right? Because you think
Yeah.
that it's might be helping you attract like-minded people, but it's for sure pushing away people that aren't
bro.
about that.
Straight up.
And
I'm big on that.
unfortunately, that's the majority, bro.
Look, sometimes, bro, you're even gonna judge who you hire off of that. Like, not like, I'm just keeping it 100, bro.
You have
Like,
to.
I could kind of, like, that's your resume. And if you're showing me that you're a problematic person through your social media page, like, that's all I need to know. Like, I'm not trying to be like I'm not trying to knock nobody, bro, but I might take the person that's not posting negative stuff over the person that is, you know?
Yeah, well, it's a little harder to give the benefit of the doubt to the guy with the bottle of lean in his profile.
There you go, bro.
Or like, you know, I agree,
Yeah,
bro.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
like, you know, even though, again, like we said, we're in this industry where you're your own boss and all that, but like if this was your, and I'm speaking about them, if it was your shop, bro, you would be pouring up all day and stuff. Like, how is that something?
Or eventually they're gonna learn, you know? Like, they're just still in their learning phase right now, but later that they're gonna see it the way we see it, you know?
I have a lot of solace in that I do believe that all these barbers will graduate to places where, because I had to do it myself, bro. I'm here having this convo where you had to realize, like, look, bro, there is different and better ways to do this, and there's a reason that other people had success doing it the right way. And I think one of my problems was that you always think that you're the difference. Yeah, that's how the game is, but I am the difference. Oh, my shop doesn't have to be like that. Bro, I'm, you know, at least with just a shop, I'm 8 years in, and you know what? Nah, I should have been like that.
Right.
You know, for sure. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just think it would have helped the bigger picture in the long run.
Right.
If you can put like a timestamp on it, when did you officially decide to head in that direction?
With social media?
Yeah.
I think I started taking it serious like in 2015,
Okay.
14-ish. That's when I started posting pictures and stuff.
And
you
what
know?
app was you using at the time?
It was Instagram and Facebook.
Okay.
Yeah, Instagram. I mean, you know what? We did do a little bit on MySpace back in the day,
yeah.
but I was never really too savvy on all that. So a few of the barbers were, but yeah, I would say 2015, bro. I started posting stuff and.
Okay. In these last 10 years of you starting and stuff, what do you do now that's more purposeful? Like, have you found success in certain strategies on social media?
Basically, you know, I just keep it barbering, bro. On the Chop Shop page, I just keep it all barbering. I don't really do anything personal on there. I just keep it. I might not post all the time, but I keep it towards anything that's relevant with business, the community, repost on haircuts. I just keep it on that aspect, bro. Like I don't try to promote anything that might steer people to see us in a negative way, you know? So.
You pretty much just show off your main product only.
That's it, bro.
I'm gonna be honest, that's one of the keys to stuff like that, bro.
Right.
Like, obviously you can try to do a lot of stuff, but if you directly show that I'm good at this one thing, well, it's very realistic that you're gonna continue to head in that direction, you know?
Right.
If I had to be on the list, like skills itself, right? We already said professionalism, customer service. How high on the totem pole do you think skills are?
Skills are, I mean, it's not everything, bro. I'll tell you that, because I know some barbers, bro, that aren't that good, but their customer service is the bomb and they're booked. So skills, honestly, bro, it matters, but it's not everything, bro.
I completely agree with that, bro, where it seems like barbers that have good customer service, they might not have the best haircuts and stuff. And I'm not saying you necessarily tell them or nothing, but you see how their clients interact with them, that those guys pass the mirror to their client, and the client's like, I'm good.
Yeah, they don't even care, bro.
And me being someone that thought, I was skill based, bro, my clients are looking at every little detail and hey, you think you could and this and that, but those other barbers weren't dealing with that. And I didn't used to think like that openly. I still say they're a top 3, but I don't think that they're the top. Right. And I'm glad you kind of agree with that, right? I personally do think that professionalism and customer service,
bro, convenience. Like, how convenient is it to get a hold of you? It's like, if that's one of the ones that, like, there's people, they'll skip the other barber because this dude answers the phone more, bro. It's more convenient.
You're completely right on that, in the fact that if you're not available, bro, or you act like you're not available, well, you're going to slowly be let go, bro, and left behind.
Especially nowadays.
How important is competition to you as a barber and as a business owner?
Dang, bro. I've honestly never felt like I was that competitive of a person. I just felt very confident. You know, and the only time that, like, the competitive side of me turns up is when I feel somebody's trying to be competitive towards me.
I got you.
Then it's like, okay, cool. Like, let me show.
Like they're encroaching.
Yeah, because it's happened, bro. You know, and you know, like, that's when, for me, I start to turn it up. Other than that, my confidence, I feel like that's good enough. You know.
Of course. What do you think separates a great barber from an average one?
Honestly, that barber that gets there when the shop it's opening time, bro. Those ones that, like, they don't start out good. Like, they don't just start out good, they stay good, bro. Like, they keep that work ethic, bro. Like, it's very rare to find that, bro. It's like a lot of barbers come in shining, bro, and then 3 months down the road,
fizzles out.
Oh yeah, it goes out the window, bro. And that's something I've learned to look out for already. Like, I just gotta give them time before, like you came last time and said, before you give them their flowers, you know.
Of course, bro.
Let me see how you work, you know.
You'd be surprised. The most consistent barbers are never the flashiest ones. They're never that.
Right.
But they do tend to have those details. Like, if your appointment's at 9, you're there at 8:30, right? Like, stuff like that. And you would think it doesn't matter that much, but it doesn't matter to me, the shop owner, and it doesn't matter that much to you, the literal person, but I guarantee to that client, bro, it matters, bro.
Those are the things that we need to bring back, though, bro.
I agree.
Is that work ethic, like all that old school barber stuff, bro. That's the stuff that has, like, kind of faded out to where it's like, we need to bring that back in the barber game, is getting there at 8:30, not 10 o'clock. We need to be getting there 30 minutes before the shop opens, filling up the towel warmer, you sweeping the shop, maybe cleaning the restroom.
Bathroom,
Like, do things just because it's not your shop. Like, do things for the shop, bro. Because you know what? That quality of ownership shows before you own your barbershop, bro.
If you're like that, it's going to transfer when you have a shop, too.
Exactly.
Yeah, I completely agree in that.
That's how I was, bro. If there wasn't toilet paper, I'll run to the liquor store and get it. And I won't even say I went and got it. Just, hey, bro, like...
It's not about the points.
Yeah,
it's
about
the principle.
Exactly, bro. Yeah. So, like, that's just something that, like, I had in me. Not that I would do the most for the shop, but... if I could clean up and do certain things, I'm gonna do it, bro. Like,
I agree. It's that difference between you're walking around anywhere, bro, and there's a piece of trash. The guy that just walks over it, that's not my job.
Exactly.
And then the guy that's just like, throw it away, right?
Exactly, bro.
I do agree that it tends to be the people that have those kinds of habits tend to do a little bit better.
Yeah.
So I'm glad to see that that's parallel across the industry, right? Like we said the other day, we've swapped barbers, bro. I got barbers that came from your situation. You have barbers that came from my situation.
Exactly.
For me, it doesn't feel any way, right? But I know, and once those things start to happen, I'm smart enough to understand too that I have to kind of understand all sides of it, right? So like where I said before, I have a rule, and I think a lot of barber owners with ethics have. It's if she looked, she took.
Exactly.
Right? If a barber reaches out to you, bro, unfortunately, that's fair game.
Exactly.
Right? But if you reach out to a barber as an owner and you start trying to plant seeds, it's not the coolest thing, man. I'll just be honest, right? I like to be the kind of barber that I'm like, well, look, if all of a sudden a barber came into my system, right? And I will say these days, I'm not the guy that literally hires them a lot of the time anymore. It'll happen from a manager or something. But I know to me, it's important to be like, I know I did. Hey, Charlie. I just saw this guy. This guy came on, like, what's up with him? Right? And between me and you, kept it real respectful. Hey, man, he's going another direction. Nothing like that. And for me, that was something where I was like, you know what, bro? I respect this man, right? Because I'm openly being like, damn, bro, I knew that barber was at your shop, right? So now to see him in our shop is like, well, fuck. For me, that doesn't feel good. Right. So I want to know what happened and blah, blah, blah. But would you say that a lot of barber owners these days communicate like that? Bro?
Nah. There's a lot that don't, bro. And then there's even some that know, like, even like this fool went out kind of dirty and they'll still take them. You know what I mean? But it is what it is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I would say even me, bro, I've fallen into that. And it's all based on necessity, right? What you're going through at the time. I've learned too, bro. Barbers like to come and tell you the sweet side of the story.
Right.
Oh, and they'll make it something real simple. He tripped because I turned the AC on.
Yeah.
There's no way it was that simple.
Right.
But I will say openly, I have a lot of respect for any barbershop owner that reaches out, bro.
Right. That's cool.
I'm openly saying right now, bro, let's say if one of my barbers heads your direction, bro, call me. I'll tell you what's up. And I don't mean to like, it's not a snitch situation. I just feel as a business owner, bro, like,
we gotta look out for each other.
It's a little bit easier, bro. And it just makes your life easier later, so you're not like, ooh, like there's that one guy that took my barber, because I don't think it's ever really like that.
It shouldn't be like that. That happens at the bottom, bro.
I agree.
That happens at the bottom.
What do you find like rewarding? Like what like actually like how do I put it? It kind of scratches that itch on a different way, right? Like I'll tell you, like for me, bro. For me, what's really rewarding, bro, and when someone's like sees those details of how I choose to be. Right? Not the thing where they count the accolades like, oh, I heard you have a bunch of shops or whatever, right? I like when someone says like a detail, right? Like, hey, bro, I really like how you did that thing, right? For me, I'll tell you that's something that's rewarding, right? Like for you, what would be something like that, bro? Like something I actually tell you something about your shop, bro.
Okay.
You're one of the first shops not the first, bro, but I mean one of the shops that I was like, damn, bro, like he has a Dice piece in here. You feel me? Stuff like that. That was something that I'll tell you straight up. When I met Dice and I got him into my shop, bro, directly in my head, I was like, Charlie has had Dice for what? How long?
Dice, well, he got down on that piece. He got down on that one. That one's kind of newer, like 7-8 years ago, maybe. But before that, I had like, there was this dude named Press.
Yep.
Press.
I remember,
Yeah, I've always been into graffiti, like I said. So I've always had dope artists in there,
I like that. Your shop was always like graffiti in the tasteful way. And I'll say even me, I took a little piece of that, right? Because it's really easy to be ghetto with graffiti.
Yeah, exactly, bro. I've seen it.
So when someone does it tasteful, bro, it's a dope thing.
Yeah,
bro,
and what's tight is like even the graffiti artists these days, they've even like gotten more tasteful to where you could put stuff in the bit. Like, you know what I mean? I don't know, like Ethos, bro, fucking Dice, Hassler, like if you getting down, bro.
Shout out all those guys.
Exactly.
Those are all guys I fuck with. Ethos, Hassler, Dice. Those.
They really like honestly like that. They helped me brand my shop, bro. Like, like the praying hands with the clippers, the two little youngsters cutting hair. Like, that means a lot to me. Like those two little youngsters cutting hair is like represents a lot of us, bro, coming up in the backyard, bro. So it's like chamacos, you know what I mean? So
if I can ask, your main Chop Shop logo, who did that?
My boy Rocky. So it's actually not the one right now. Before that, it was my boy Rocky. You know, a little graffiti artist, got down. One of the homies fucks around with what's that shit? Photoshop and
did the graphic design.
Yeah, did the graphic side. But now the new one is Hassler.
Okay,
so
the newest one that we see.
The newest one is Hassler.
That shit. Though, shout out Hassler, bro. That fool's dope as fuck.
Yep.
Do you or have you had any mentors that have helped you along the way?
I would say the mentors that I've had are the dudes from West LA. Cartoon, he's a barber. It was Lincoln Barbershop, bro. Like just watching them, even before I became a barber, just watching them cut already planted a seed in my mind. And then South Bay Barbershop, you know, with Jerry and Rich, you know, with those guys, those were my mentors, bro. So between both of those shops is where, you know, I picked up a lot of game.
Dope. Do you have, I have barber mentors, right? Yeah. But I also along the line found like financial mentors, right? Yeah. Like people that have nothing to do with the barber game, but they're like in business or something. Yeah. Do you have anyone that has helped you out with those things?
Yeah, I do. I've had somebody that helped me out, like teaching me about credit, you know,
taxes,
doing the LLC stuff, because I used to do, I didn't even have an LLC, bro. Everything was underground. So yeah, you know, that for sure. And then even in sobriety, bro. You know, being clean, bro. Like I've had a mentor, a sponsor, that helped me learn to live a more spiritual life, bro. Okay. And that actually trickled into the business life. And honestly, that changed everything.
Everything you learned from them, would you say that it was a massive
amount
of help?
Bro. I think the main one for me, bro, was the sponsor and getting clean. That was the biggest one because it changed my mindset and I became more open-minded of a person to even want to go learn things about finances, you know, my credit, just to be a more open-minded person, you know?
So after all these years, bro, how do you stay motivated in the game?
So I stay motivated just because I love the game, bro. Like, honestly, I just love it. This is all I've known. This is the only job I've ever had. But also, too, being able to help other people, bro. You know, I see people motivated right now. I got all these youngsters that work for me and they're motivated like I was when I was younger in the barber game. I'm just motivated in a different point of the barber game. Of course. You know, and one day they're going to experience it from my level. You know, so for me, it's just seeing people come up and like the connections that I make in the game. Gotcha. Like right now, one of the connections I'm trying to make is I'm trying to have access to detox. So there's like a lady we're working with right now to create that opportunity if people are struggling within the barber game or through the community. You know, everybody's got a friend struggling. So for me, bro, it's like using those connections. Like using this platform correctly, bro, for our resources.
To do good.
Yeah, so right now I'm trying to open up that window to where like if people are struggling, they know they could come get at Charlie and boom, I'm going to shoot them this number and then they're able to, you know.
Yeah, that's commendable as fuck, bro. Just so you know, like you don't have to do that, but would you say that comes too because you saw how much it helped you to go through these things?
For sure, yeah.
That's dope as fuck, bro. Do you think you see yourself barbering for another 20 years? And not cutting, my bad, being in the industry for another 20 years?
Oh, yeah, for sure I do, bro. I definitely, as long as I can do it, I'll stay in it. You know, there's other avenues. Like, you know, I try other little businesses here and there, you know, stuff. It's kind of hard because I'm so used to just the barber stuff. But I get stuck sometimes. Sometimes I start projects and I get stuck. And then I get new motivation and then I jump on. But no, yeah, I definitely see myself in this barber game as long as I can. But I feel like this is a stepping stone to use this barber game, make money, buy a house, buy more houses, use the money in the barber game to put into other things. This shouldn't be your only avenue for income. Use this for your stepping stone. That's how I see it.
I'm a huge believer in that, bro. I think my storyline is exactly that.
Yeah.
What you can get out of cutting hair, bro, is it's amazing. Yeah. But you have to at least know you want to go that far.
Exactly.
I feel like.
So, you know what, the goal is homes eventually too, bro. Of course. Getting into some real estate. Look, if we could flip barbershops, bro, we could flip homes, bro.
Bro, it's funny that you say that. That's literally what me and my team are on.
And it's fun, right?
Yeah, if I can flip a shop in a month, I can flip a house in a month.
Bro, I know a team that's doing that. They're doing like 3 or 4 of them every few months, bro.
Making thousands.
Killing it, bro.
Yeah.
And the thing is like we got the resources. We probably got more.
Maybe this is another avenue of that union, man.
Exactly,
I like the way it's going. If you could go back, is there anything you would do differently
falling into habits, you know, like certain habits, but I mean, it's inevitable, bro. In one way or another, we're going to fall into a habit. But I would say, like, I would have loved to see what my career would be like if I didn't fall into, like, you know, little drug habits, partying too much or this or that.
How much time do you think that took from you, like time-wise?
7 years, bro.
Damn, yeah,
7 years. And then, okay, 7 years and then recovering. Because you go through that, but also you got to gain your mindset back. All this shit that you skipped, you know, you got to, you know, regain your thinking process. And
it was more than 7 years.
Yeah,
if
it's
you
more
put
than
all
7
of it
years,
together.
bro. Yeah, but also too, it makes your, you know, how you said I have thick skin. It's because I've been through a lot, bro. And honestly, going through a lot, you can put up with a lot.
You get a lot stronger,
bro. Your gratitude is real. Hey, the bigger your gratitude is, the thicker your skin is, bro.
What's one piece of wisdom you wish you knew when you started?
The finances, bro. Honestly, credit. I mean, I heard about it. I just didn't really pay attention to it.
You would have pretty much like researched it and started on it earlier?
Yeah, I mean, these days, bro, we got so much more knowledge on social media. So people are fortunate, you know.
Bro, I got 18-year-olds give me financial advice.
That's what I'm saying, bro. We didn't have that back then.
Yeah,
even these memes, these positive spiritual memes or quotes. Seeing those every day on the feed, like,
it helps.
Yeah, it helps.
I tell people it's like you're reading books without even knowing.
Exactly.
Bro.
Like, oh yeah, damn, that's right. Puts things into perspective sometimes, you know.
I completely agree, bro. I think we're all getting smarter through each other.
Exactly.
This is a big one, man. What's the legacy you hope to leave in this barber industry when you're done with it?
I want my shop to be known for having those resources, bro, to help people.
Okay.
You know, I want people to know that, hey, Charlie's shop helped a lot of people, bro. It helped so-and-so's nephew get clean. It helped this dude get clean. Like, I want to get more into, like, that area, bro. Of course. Of helping people, like, get over addictions and things like that, you know? So that's something I want people to remember me for.
That's dope as fuck, bro. Yeah. I hope that part of your journey gets a lot bigger.
Yeah.
And now knowing that myself now too, bro, you know, it's something that you're now a resource in case I know anybody like that. And I think that's what's dope about having these conversations, you know? First of all, I'd like to say, Charlie, thank you for your time.
Thank you, bro.
Thank you for allowing us in your space, me and my family.
Yeah, thank you.
I wish you all the best, all the blessings. If there's anything I could help in, I'd openly like to extend a hand.
Cool.
You know, let the people watching know how they can support you in literal ways. So obviously your barbershops, your businesses, your brand, go ahead and shout them out in the literal way, bro. If the Instagram handle, any of that stuff.
All right, for sure. So I got Next Level Studios and I got Next Level Beauty. So Next Level Studios is the barbershop. And yeah, like I said, I got Next Level Beauty and then Chop Shop Barbershop. That's where it all started. So I got Chop Shop in Chula Vista and then I got next door to Chicano Park. So basically those are my barbershops, and then Netcard was my digital business cards. So that's right now pretty much that's all that I'm doing. I mean, I do the little barber mob thing, so I'm trying to start, you know,
it's
I want to
brand,
make,
right?
Yeah, it's my brand. So I want to start like making some little barber stuff, like pretty much like little stuff for the station, accessories and
barber
stuff.
Accessories,
Yeah, little stuff like that, nothing too crazy. But just I like to do that because I get to have fun with it, bro. Kind of like, you know, the way I see you doing things, bro. Like,
it's fun, bro. It's the best way to put it.
Even if you don't make, like, even if you just make your money back, it's like, bro, I got to create
something.
Yeah, create, bro. I'm a good artist. I could draw, bro. So like, I have a creative mind, you know. So it's like it's fun to create something. And lately, even the tech side, bro, like making a, you know, like dot card, kind of like theirs. I made my own.
I saw
you know.
That.
So
low key, I'm gonna grab one from you, bro.
Yeah, I'll make you one, and I'll put all your links and stuff. But the way I made mine is where you can put pictures too. So it's like you tap it on someone's phone, and you could even upload a bunch of pictures, like a gallery. So say I walk up to you and tap your phone. Say it's a girl.
See those things.
Yeah, you could see the girl. She shows her whole nail portfolio or haircut portfolio.
And that's a smart idea to not just do it for barbers, do it for anyone,
for everybody
that's doing it.
Because the way they were doing it is just links. I do it where it's links and pictures. So yeah, my goal is to have that done hopefully within a few months. It's almost done. Just a couple little kinks, you know. It's a lot, but
it's enough,
it's a lot, bro.
Yeah. Well, on our end, we'll make sure we put all that like in the description and all those details.
Cool.
Let's talk about a literal, bro. We're right now at that Chop Chicano Park.
Yeah, Chicano Park.
I can already tell the direction is going, bro. It's a beautiful space, a beautiful location.
Yeah.
I know you told me your vision for the professionalism of it.
Yeah.
But other than that, as far as just visuals or the type of barbers you're looking for, how can we help you in this endeavor?
So for me, what I'm looking for team players. I'm looking for people that want to bring something to the community. I want to bring something, like, because I feel like we're in the heart of San Diego. We're the heartbeat, bro. We're in a really good area where I feel like if you're put in this position, you better shine.
There's a lot of culture right
you know, there's a lot of culture here. So I feel like people that work at this shop, they need to appreciate where they're at. You know what I'm saying? And
try to be an asset.
And be an asset and be cool with the neighbors, be cool with people all around the community. This is like a spot where you got to be a networker. You got to be down for the cause. You know what I'm saying? And there's a lot of cause around here.
Of course.
So, and that's something I've always been about. Like, I've always been that dude that helps my neighbors out. You know, if I have my maintenance man over and I know the neighbors
have something that
need something that's, you know, I'm gonna take care of the lady. Mm-hmm. The lady only speaks Spanish. I'm gonna get at the landlord for her.
Exactly.
Like, I've always been that spokesperson for my people. You know,
pretty much be a pillar to this community,
bro.
not just someone that's here to take.
Yeah, bro. Yeah.
I'd like to definitely touch on that because personally, that's what I like to do.
Right.
I feel like I like to call my business anti-gentrification. Right. We're in areas that we're not supposed to be in.
That's cool.
So why would you fuck that up?
Exactly, bro.
Why would you go and be something that makes it look worse?
Right.
It's gonna be way easier to catch those bees with honey, per se.
Exactly,
right?
bro.
And I like that style, bro. I think you're gonna do great with that kind of, you know, model.
Yeah.
To anyone that's paying attention, bro, you're doing something good.
Thank you.
And I just want to give you your flowers while I have a chance to. You get what I mean?
Thank
So
you.
with all that being said, this is going to end episode 2 of Cut the Shit podcast.
For sure.
We're going to put all the ways that you can support my boy in the description. And I hope that this is maybe just the beginning of, you know, a good relationship, bro.
For sure. It is.
Once again, thank you very much. And internet, I'll see you later.
I grew up in a fucked up place, but made the best of it. As a kid, I never had shit, but I never questioned it. My parents bought me what they could, and I defended it. But I saw what other kids would get, and I resented it. Right then and there, that moment, I made my mind up. Saw the homies in the streets getting money, so then I signed up. Was attracted to the lights of the Benzes when they would ride up. The baddest little bitches would flock, and they would pile up. So I started stealing weed from my brothers and selling eights.